This is going to be a quick touch up, man. I just remember something when I read Genesis 49:10, where it says, "And to him shall the gathering of the people shall be." That's talked about Yahweh Shai, but he also is from the tribe of Yahweh himself, right? So I wasn't wrong, but I just had to point that out. And another thing is that when the truth, the gospel, was being spread, even back in those times, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, had to receive it first. Then it goes out to the rest of the tribes. All right. And I'm going to get a few more scriptures about just having faith, man. I'm going to just type in faith. So faith pops up. Faith pops up 231 times. And it's all throughout the New Testament. The word faith was only used twice in the Old Testament, unless my blue letter Bible is glitching, right? Now, obviously, there's many instances of faith being used in the Old Testament and the New Testament, but just the word itself, all right? Don't get confused. Let's see what I can get off of this. Luke 17:5, and the apostle said unto the Lord, increase our faith. Let's eat off of that. This verse 6. And Yahweh said, if ye had faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye might say unto this sycamore tree, be thou plucked up by the root, and thou shalt plant it in the sea, and it shall obey you. That's right. So the Israelites had that type of power. All right. And when that time comes for us to really exhale that power, because you see, we're going to be put in situations where we're going to need spiritual power. It's not going to be like you just wake up one day and you're like, all right, I want to fly. Like, nah, it doesn't work like that. You got to be in a situation where you need to fly, man. That's how this goes. That's how this goes with the Most High. So when your back is against the wall, you got to have faith, man. Believe wholeheartedly, man, and you're going to get that power. And that power is going to be, like I said, faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, man. If you're not pushing the truth, if you're not living the truth, it's worthless. Romans 3:27. Where is boasting then? It is excluded. So you're not supposed to boast in the truth, man. You're supposed to be meek and humble. Because Adonijah, I believe, King David was on his deathbed. He was boasting that he was going to be the king. And he knew he was wrong, man. He knew he was wrong for that. He knew that King Solomon was given the throne. That's why he didn't invite King Solomon and his mother. And I believe Nathan was saying that he was a prophet. He said that Adonijah was going to come and kill King Solomon, and his eventually was going to kill King Solomon, at the time Solomon, right? And his mother. So that's an example right there. So it is excluded. By what law? Of works? Nay, but by the law of faith. So really, if you do boast, man, you got to be boasting in faith, man. And how do you do that? By showing off your faith, man. Because having faith, that's one of the greatest things you can do as a human being, period. And then Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai is the ultimate form of trust, so to speak, right? This is James 2:17. Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. So you got to have faith in works, man. And that's how we're going to make it through this, because we're all filthy, man. We're all pretty much worthy of death if you go by the law. Let's get that. Isaiah 64:6. But we are also as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. because we're in these bodies, man. We don't have the new bodies that's gonna be like Yahweh. And just hearkening on that, one of the most famous scriptures about spiritual power, verse 18 is Isaiah 59:18. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. This is verse 21. And as for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. So that's all the acts that our forefathers did. We're going to do that. And like Yahweh Shai said, we're going to be on another level, never known, never seen on a planet Earth before. You understand? We're going to do things not even Yahweh Shai was doing. And we're going to do things like Yahweh Shai was doing. This is John 14:12. I always jump to this, man. I'm going to jump to one more, because it's very powerful, and it sticks with me for how powerful it is, because the spiritual power is real. It's real. Brothers doing things you only see in movies and in manga and in comic books and TV shows will become reality. This is John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, so that's faith. Belief, faith is synonymous. The work that I do shall he do also, in greater works than these shall he do, because I go into my Father. So Yahweh Shai was saying that the Israelites that believe on him will do things he did, and greater things than he did. And one of the things that stick out with me with Yahweh Shai is when he transfigured. So you see how like Goku and Naruto and all these other characters like Cosmic Spider-Man and things like that, Superman 1,000,000, how they transform. That's all from the scriptures, man. That wasn't no mortal man that created that. That was inspired from the Israelites, and we're not no mortal men. This is Matthew, and starting from Yahweh Shai, of course, right? This is Matthew 17:2, verse 1, actually. And after 6 days, Yahweh Shai, all right, his name's not Jesus. Before it was I have a 1611 Bible, which doesn't have no letter J in there, because letter J wasn't widely used until after 1611. All right, but it was created in 1524. It says Iesus. It says Iesus, man. And then when you click on this right here, it says Iesus right there. So because that's Greek. And Greek and English are very similar, like how Greek and Spanish are similar, and Spanish and English is similar, so on and so forth. And and when you go into the Paleo Hebrew, his name is Yahweh Shai. And I believe when you translate Yahweh Shai's name to English, I believe it's Joshua, man. Literally, when you translate Yahweh Shai to English, it's Joshua. And after 6 days, Yahweh Shai taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. So his clothes turned white, and his face started shining like the sun. He straight up transformed, man. Like one thing I can think on is when, when Naruto not first transformed, but he transformed into his Sage of Six Paths mode, which is just like these anime, they're jacking the Israelites, man, with this anime stuff, man. Like I watch and read anime and manga. They're jacking the scriptures just like Esau does with his comics. The Ammonites and Moabites, man, they're just straight up jacking the scriptures because there's a character named Hagoromo, and he gave the elder, right, Esau, was like some guy named like Indra, and he was supposed to get pretty much the dominion, but he was evil, and his younger brother named Ashura got the dominion because he was righteous, right? And then Hagoromo was pretty much the representation of Isaac, which is Yahweh Shai, and then Indra was Esau, and Ashura was Jacob, man. So it's just a rip on the scriptures. And then Naruto, when he got his Sage of Six Paths mode, which is Hagoromo, right? He transfigured, like you just read here. His face was shining, and his clothes took on a different appearance, and they were shining as well. They didn't turn white; they turned like black, and it's still some heathen stuff going on. But all that is for us to see. All right, I'm gonna reread that again, verse 2, Matthew 17:2, and he was transfigured before them, which is another way. It's a synonym, for transforming. And he was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. Now, I've seen fucking Edomite saying because his face was shining, that means he was a fucking Edomite, right? A so-called white person, right? It didn't say nothing about his pigmentation, like the scripture says, having, pale red skin is leprosy, but that's not the main topic. But just to go into this right quick. Now, this is Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. All right, that's why Yahweh Shah's face was shining when he transformed, and having that right raiment goes into just righteousness as well, and purity, man, because Yahweh and the angels wear white as well. Let's get that. Daniel 7:9 is Daniel 7:9. I'm just read half of it. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow. All right, so Yahweh has that white garment, and the angels as well. They wear white. Acts 1:10, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, and behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, and that's the angels. All right, that's the angels. Okay. So yeah, brothers are gonna be out here transforming. It's going to be an intense war, because it's all just going to be a war, man. It's going to be an all-out war. Esau's going to come in hard. And you see the setup now. The setup is clear. It's not even like some secretive stuff. And you see the Israelites going mainstream with IUIC. And they don't really care about IUIC because they don't call on the true name. They don't teach. I think they just started teaching Jacob's Trouble a few months ago. They're still not teaching what the C-hip is correctly. So they don't really care too much about IUIC. But, they still teaching that who the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites and the speckled bird. So they got props there, but they're not all the way there. Who they really want is people that had 100% truth. That came out of One West on down, the Great Millstone, Apostle Tahar, Gabar, Aram Lob, Rakah, on down. That's who they really want, and they got us marked, man. I know for sure they got me marked, because, I used to talk about the truth with my grandmother, and every time I talked about it near her phone, the Siri on her phone would go off. I kid you not. In my phone sometimes, my Siri would go off, I believe, and my phone would shut down. Like if I searched up certain things on my phone or I talked, my phone would shut down. Like it would just completely shut down on some reboot stuff. It's crazy. And with my grandmother, her phone, if I talked about it, it was only when I talked about something pertaining to the scriptures or with Esau or, you know, spiritual power or the truth, anything involving the truth of the scriptures, like the dark sayings. Every time I talked about that near her or near her phone, the Siri would go off. Siri would go like, did it? You know how it goes? And we wouldn't touch it. And even my grandma, old as she's being, she knows that that's not right. She knows something's up. Even my grandma knew it was something up. So they got us marked, brothers. And you sisters out there too. But I'm going to end this video off right there. Lord's will is edifying. Shalom.